So if Iran is funding the Taliban and Obama is giving money to Iran, you can see why I have a problem. So when I see them lose 80% of their oil sales and I see them get 50% inflation and over 25% unemployment, I'm a happy man when I see 1 million Iranians screaming, regime change or stop funding terrorism. So that's a beautiful thing. Then I see China get punched in the nose. China goes from 1.5% of the world's GDP up to 17.6%, and America goes 29% down to 19.8%. So what am I seeing? Biden's around 36 years. He does nothing to stop the flow. He goes in on Air Force Two, and the only one that gets a good deal on that job is his son. And then he makes believe he doesn't know that his son just picked up $30 million flying back with his father on a plane, okay? And he doesn't make a story about that. Then he goes ahead and leverages $1 billion in aid for Ukraine to say, turn the prosecutor off looking at the company that's giving my son $1 million a year. My worthless son who doesn't speak Ukrainian, doesn't know the gas industry, doesn't know anything about Chinese business. So the way I'm looking at it full circle, something smells connecting the dots. Then I see Biden's brother gets $500,000 to do houses in Iraq. Okay, now let's talk about what's great for America. Instead of America outsourcing jobs to China, like it did 36 years, Trump's got the Chinese outsourcing jobs to America, building factories in America, so Americans are making solar panels, an up-and-coming business. China loses 8 million jobs. That causes 27,000 Mexicans to be working our border, doing what Democrats don't want to do, which is protect our border so we have a real nation. Because what do? They give a unholy lure, magnet, to lure people from all over the world to sneak in for free health care. So someone gets $800,000 worth of free heart surgery, that I can't afford all those resources. And at the same time, then when they're done with their free heart surgery, they go sleep in the street, okay, bring third world diseases we haven't seen in 50 years because they haven't been vaccinated, or they go work for cash under the table to put one of your Americans on unemployment, okay? Now let's talk about the most volatile place in the world, a place we spend $8 trillion, where all the blood spills, where we have a sixth fleet there to make sure oil comes. Now we have freedom and independence. We don't need their oil. We have our own oil. Thank you, President Trump. Now we have China losing 8 million jobs. Thank you, President Trump. Now we have favored nation status on drugs. So Americans are in the fool of the world. We're not paying for the research and development. We're going to have the same equal pay. Thank you, President Trump. We won a war in 8 months with Trump, as opposed to losing it for 8 years with Obama. Why would I like the guy that loses for 8 years, that has his soldiers wait 30 minutes for Washington to approve a fire mission and miss 80% of the targets? Well, that's got to be kickback for military manufacturing people. Don't get me started on this. Trump won the war. That's got to be fantastic for Americans. Then he says, okay, I'm going to leverage this with Israel. I'm going to take on something that nobody's done. I'm going to be the first president to recognize Jerusalem. In exchange, the Israelis will share the holiest site in the world with the Muslims, Christians, and Jews equal pay. The Palestinians can share the capital, Jerusalem. And the Israelis will not do any more settlements in Palestinian area. What does that do? It gives political cover to further isolate Iran, to allow moderate nations that want to not side with extremism, but to come straight over on Iran, on Israel's side, and make alliances, furthering peace, further isolating Iran, who funds Hamas, who controls everything in Palestine, making the war. You see, Hamas doesn't make its own weapons. It gets the same missiles, the same bullets and guns that the Taliban are getting in Afghanistan, okay? Now, we talk about righteousness and proud to be an American, okay? So, when Assad, who doesn't have a military to go door to door in Syria, what does he do? He sends in a chemical mass destruction terror weapon, okay? And gasses children and women, right? With the ugliest death. And Obama does nothing about it. Where Trump immediately blows up a Syrian Air Force base and tells Russia, its ally, and Syria, if you do it again, you'll see something better. Then he goes ahead and wins the Iran war in 2 hours. He says, don't mistake restraint for weakness, okay? So I let you take a British tanker. I let you blow up a drone. I let you blow up the half of Saudi oil, and I don't let Russia get influence in anything. I take all the oil sales. America takes care of the whole world. We empty our tanks, we refill it. When Saudi's online, perfect strategy. Russia doesn't get a dime of influence out of it. We take care of everybody. And then he says, okay, you attack a base, I let it go. Then you kill an American. That was how you did the line in the sand. So what do? 350 planes come out. The greatest thing, we knock out 5 military targets so strongly, and the next day when an Iranian general is by the Iraqi airport in Baghdad, we sent a missile up his butt, and we killed the number 2 guy. Pelosi goes, oh, Trump's going to get us to war. No, Trump says to Iran, I got 52 targets to represent the 52 people you took. If you go and make one move, within 4 hours, you will not be the same country for over 1,000 years. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Stop intimidating. Stop attacking. Then he tells his Navy, rather than go like Obama and surrender to the Iranian Navy, he says, if they come near you, if they so much as look at you, shoot them out of the water. That's what American presidents do. They don't order us surrender, just like Democrats should not surrender police stations. Okay? Because the DNC funds these guys for their political careers and says, hey, if you call the National Guard, which is so easy to just pick up the phone, we don't have to surrender to 200 people and surrender police stations. We can give law and order. But what they want to do is say, oh, there's burning and looting. Yes, in Democrat cities. And yes, there's increased homeless and misery. Look what they did to San Francisco. If you're looking to vote Democrat, you're looking to go the way of Venezuela, because there's nothing you can do to connect the dots. If you close your eyes, don't look at CNN, which has 3 moderators that have no opinion. They're anti-Trump biased people. They don't give you the full paragraph. So what do you got? You got San Francisco as the vice president's resume. Okay, take a look at it. That's Pelosi, Speaker of the House, and Harris. Okay, and you got Biden, 50 years from Delaware, says he's the Scranton kid. He was only there 9 years. He was a kid. He's not Scranton, Pennsylvania. He's Delaware. And the Delaware senator isn't the highest action, most thing in the world in America. Okay, all right. Reagan came from California. That's a bigger resume. Okay, look at what the Democrat One Voice has done to California. Take a look at what you want your country to be. Increased homeless disease? Or you want a president that gets results and gets things done time and time again. Win war, stand up to China, beat China in the war, get great trade deals, get great borders, great favorite nation, and the best one of all is the one I love, the one I'm passionate, is school choice. Keeping schools accountable to parents based on results and performance. So parents can say, I'll take my $5,000, and if you don't want to serve my kid the way he should be served, I will give it to Christian school, private school, nonprofit charter school. So I built a nonprofit charter school. I helped in Sanford, Florida, and the straight F went from F to B minus in 2 years because our non-union teachers work harder and they want to get out and work, because they say, hey, if a person in a supermarket, okay, in Walmart supermarket, you see 20,000 people in a month, I can handle 12 kids. All right, where the union teacher wants to sit home and take the money and just sit home. Listen, America's children need the best education because we're going to have to compete with China someday. Thank you. Vote Trump. Vote results. Connect the dots yourself. You do not see migrant caravans coming over the border. You do not with Corona, and you do not see ISIS cutting women's heads off. Problems are being solved. America's Dow did not go 12,000 in 3 years of Trump when it took 67 years for America's company to go 18,000. Connect the dots. Thank you.